You are entering ENC's Pod of Awesomeness.
Here we are once again. I think that's it. Am I starting off with another boy band lyric?
Yeah, well, it seems like you just always kind of jump the gun and want to be heard first, you know? Makes me a little sad.
Twice now, I've left it open, I've laid out, and decided, okay, he's going to do something. You never do.
Well, I like the people to have to wait to hear the silky, soothed tones of my voice.
Then why are you complaining that I jump in?
Why don't you just go fuck yourself?
Yeah, exactly. You're never content. There's always something, man. You're malcontent, damn it.
Yeah.
Big week. I mean, insanity.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
WrestleMania, it doesn't get any bigger than that in our industry, in the former industry that we were employed in. I guess we kind of still are. I don't know. We're free agents, though, aren't we?
Yeah, we just kind of, like, linger. We're like a little Klingons.
Yeah, we're like a fungus.
Yeah. Yeah. We're like the new
underside
Nuggets.
of a bridge or something.
Remember they used to call Owen a nugget? And he'd be like, I'm not a nugget. We're like the new Nuggets.
Yeah, he took that and ran.
And, anything with the new on it,
never works.
Pretty strong. Yeah.
Never works, so I don't know if we should. And plus, it's usually the new Midnight Express, the new Rockers, the whatever. We're going for the new Nuggets.
Foundation.
But still, that's stronger than new Nuggets.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
But imagine the merchandising opportunities, new Nuggets.
No, I can't, and I want to get to WrestleMania because it was huge. I don't care about goddamn Nuggets. What do you think about that? So I have a coffee in me. I'm a little angry. I'm not angry. I'm just fired up. I want to talk about WrestleMania.
Strong?
Yeah.
It was. It was what it was. It's funny how, when
it was what it was.
No,
rousing round of indifference.
No, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it that way. I mean it's. I didn't mean it that way. I meant it in the sense that it's always a big deal, and it's always this monster, right? I mean, you know it, I know it. Anybody it's so cool though, like being there WrestleMania week and seeing the fans from all over the world that actually come and they take their vacations around WrestleMania, and it becomes like their family outing for the year, or one of them. But it's always cool. We did a couple signings. We shot some content for the Edge and Christian show season 2, which is after doing it and getting that stuff. We got some awesome stuff. I can't wait for people to see it. It's got me more excited for the second season. I think it's gonna be better than the first. But you almost, when you're not there every week like we aren't, you almost forget about the madness that goes into everything, and especially leading up to WrestleMania week. But when you get there, it's just like balls out for like a full week,
Yeah, it's truly nonstop, even for us, and we're not, competing on the show. Between filming ENC2, between appearances, trying to get guests together and try and do podcasts too, and having kids. Our daughters there.
Yeah.
And it was bedlam. There was one point at the Hall of Fame night, we had 5 kids in our hotel room, and our nanny, bless her heart, Linda Schuler, she was looking after 5 kids in one hotel room.
Yeah, I remember, because we were staying on the same floor, and I remember walking past your room, and I was like, I'll just pop in. I heard everybody. I was like, yeah, maybe I'll just keep walking.
Better to keep on walking.
I'm just going to keep going.
Just keep on walking. Yeah, so we didn't sleep for a week, essentially. But it was good. We went to Disney together. We can, Isla, Lyric, held hands, told each other they love each other, and then ran around and watched Elsa dance and play, and it was 95 degrees, but it was all worth it.
Yeah, and they went on, what is it? It's a Small World? Is that the ride they went on?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. They apparently were, we didn't go on it with them. We went on a different ride with them, but they went on there with their mothers, and they were entranced by, I guess, that was maybe the only time they were quiet the whole day, but they were entranced by all the when you go through the tunnels and stuff, all the stuff that's up on the walls and the ceilings and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. But they had a blast.
Well, you brought up their mothers, and this week we have Lyric and Ruby's, my kid's mother, my wife, Beth.
It was a big get for me. I promised it. I promised it, and I delivered.
I so dispute this. This is my get.
You can dispute all you want, but
she sleeps in the same bed as me. It's my get.
I know, but I figured that you guys would be, sidetracked and distracted by kids, so I snuck in there, and I was like, listen, you need to do this as a favor for me. I feel like you owe it to me to be on our podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so we have her this week, coming off of her Hall of Fame speech and, all the buzz about that, and seemed like the opportune time to nab my wife.
Yeah, and I think that, like, I mean, she didn't surprise us because we know her, especially you, but I think she surprised a lot of people, not only within WWE, but the entire universe. The fans blew everybody away with her speech, so just, it's going to be cool to sit down and talk to her about all that stuff and get the, her thought process going into it and what she expected and how she felt after, so it's going to be cool.
It will, and so what I want to talk about first is what you thought about WrestleMania, what you thought about some of the matches, what your favorite match was, and just, I mean, there's the spectacle. The set was amazing. It was way too hot and way too long a show. No one should have a 7-hour wrestling show. I'm sorry, it's just too long. So that by the time the guys are on at the end, crowd's burned out, and you got to figure out different ways to get them, so that makes it more difficult. I think 4 hours for WrestleMania is perfect, but who am I? But what'd you think of the show? What matches stood out?
Yeah, I mean, it's always, the cool thing is always the spectacle, right? I mean, seeing a stadium full like that, you always know they're going to do something cool with the set. Like, I thought the roller coaster thing was super cool with the lighting and all that sort of thing. The outdoor setting's always neat. It's always a little bit dangerous because you never know what you're going to get weather-wise, but especially like in Florida, rainy season, that sort of thing. So, yeah, I mean, visually it looked awesome, as it usually does. I don't know. It's one of those things where sometimes I have to go back and watch it a second time to really gauge what my favorite match was. But I thought they started off good. Actually, the Shane AJ match I thought was really good. AJ is one of those guys that can just seemingly never have a bad match. So, like some of the reversals they did, incorporated some of the MMA stuff, like when AJ went for the
450 into the
and got caught
triangle.
in the triangle. I thought that was pretty cool. Shane took some hellacious bumps like he usually does, like when he got kicked and flew back over to the announce table. That was pretty. Of course he did his coast to coast and his jump off the elbow through the table. So.
Can I tell you what my favorite bump of the match was?
Sure.
Mike Chioda's.
That was a good bump.
He got smegmated.
Yeah.
I mean, right in the temple. Looked great. Don't know how it was, but it looked great.
Yeah, for sure.
So I will say that was my favorite match.
Yeah.
Now, placement on the card makes a big difference. Crowd was still hot.
Yep.
AJ's super on fire right now, and the crowd's with him. So I think the crowd was hot for that, and they kind of died after that, as I said, because I think they were just exhausted and hot by that point, already sitting there for, 3 hours. So that was my favorite match. But what else stood out for you?
I thought the women's match, the first women's match was pretty solid.
The Raw women's the Raw women's title match.
Yeah. Would have been nice to see him have a little bit more time, maybe. Mm-hmm. But it was, I think overall it was a pretty solid match. It was, of course, everybody was kind of interested in how the Goldberg Brock Lesnar match was going to go down, like whether it was going to be another quick, just another quick one, or whether it was going to actually, they were going to put some time in and just try to have an extended match rather than just something quick. I thought it was
perfect.
I did too.
It was perfect. I thought it was Godzilla. It was King Kong. They go in and they slug each other for 5 minutes.
Yeah, smash the shit out of each other.
Yep.
And that's what it is. And the crowd was hot for it. They were into it.
Yeah, and that says it right there. And you know what I really dig about Bill's stuff is it always feels like he goes before anyone is prepared.
Yeah.
So, he spears Brock, and I don't think Brock has any idea it's coming at that point. Like, he's expecting to have, an extra second to, turn, but he doesn't get that extra second.
Yeah.
Or it's just both of the way they both work. I don't know, but it makes it feel sudden and violent.
Yeah, I mean, they're both obviously great athletes, but they're not. I don't think either one are what you would say are super, smooth. So just like you said, these two guys out there,
Nor should they be.
Looking like they're just trying to rip each other's limbs off and smash the shit out of each other. I think it was done perfectly as well. And like I said, it's all about, you can gauge that off of a crowd reaction, and the crowd was reacting. And
here's a quick
they didn't have to do
aside.
They didn't have to do a ton of false finishes and all these different things to, to build the match, or that wasn't the style, that wasn't the story. of what they were doing. And
just to get you into the mindset of what these guys are,
right?
Beforehand, Bill was shrugging a golf cart. He was shrugging a golf cart. He was shrugging a fucking golf cart before he was going out for his match.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And I may cough a couple times during this, and
because you got sick. You said, "No, I'm not getting sick. I just got a sore throat. I'm not getting all week."
I didn't have a sore throat. I don't have any symptoms of any sickness.
Really? Because it sounds like it.
Well, here's the thing, right? So with children, and I never used to, and I very rarely ever got
You're sick.
got
it's
a cold,
okay to admit
like
it. You're sick.
I very rarely ever do it. But ever since my daughter has been going to preschool, she brings something home, and somehow now I get sick like every week. And
so you are sick.
I'm not sick. About the week before, I had a little sore throat, a little stuffy nose for a couple days. It went away, but I've had this lingering cough, and it's just like this little itch in my throat. And every time I feel it, I have to cough. So I'm not.
You know what I should do? I should just sidekick you right in the throat, and that will help.
I would thrust punch your fucking ball
sack.
Sidekick
Kick you right in your throat neck. Fuck. Yep, that's what I think.
I would.
So, the one thing that you have to talk about and take out of this is that I think we've seen the last of the Undertaker. I think that was his last match. I think that was, that was his Johnny Cash song farewell kind of thing, and classic Eastwood type character. Goes out on his shield, and to me that's the moment that you don't forget. Some of the matches, whatever, fine. Who had the best match, whatever, fine. Reactions,
right.
Fine. But the lasting image that you will have is that hat, that coat, those gloves in the middle of the ring, right. Which they didn't touch for another 40 minutes while they tore down the entire set. They kept it in there, and him lowering down with his fist raised.
Yeah, well, the WrestleMania is all about making moments, right? That's what, like you said, memorable moments, and that's what it's about. Everybody wants to have that WrestleMania moment that stands the test of time, and I mean, Taker's had a ton of them. And to me, no matter where Taker was on the WrestleMania card, I always thought his match was the main event, no matter where it was. Yeah. But he'd obviously, had not only earned and deserved the right, but to have that to be in the main event, the last slot, whether there was a title on the line or not. But yeah, I mean, he's obviously the most revered guy probably in the history of the WWE. So
that's it. Him and Andre,
right?
Yeah.
So it was a perfect way for him to bow out if that is the case, and yeah, I mean, just literally leaving it all in the ring, putting everything there, and I thought it was a great visual, and I think that shows you what kind of performer he was, performer, what he meant to the company and the fans. For them did not even touch his stuff for however long after, like you said, 40, 45 minutes after the show was over, and they were tearing stuff down. But I mean, that's stuff that's going to be shown for years and years and years, probably long after we're all gone,
Well, and what he meant to the audience, what he meant to the locker room.
Right, that's what I mean, yeah.
He was there was no question about it. If he was there, he was the leader of the locker room. And the rest who were leaders, acquiesced to that because, it's just the role that he took on, and he was so good at it. It was like, okay, good, Taker's back.
Yeah.
Okay, I can breathe a little bit now. So that will be greatly missed. His matches, obviously, but, his legacy's
cemented. So, yeah, he should, he deserves everything he had and everything he's got coming to him. So,
yep,
good for him.
Hold that head high and enjoy retirement. I'm saying retirement, but, he's the only one that knows, but I think that's got to be it. But, it was quite possibly, I mean, it's all subjective, but arguably the greatest career, definitely the greatest WrestleMania career.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
And like we've talked about, a character that if you looked at it on paper, you'd go, huh, really? And 30 years later, and however many WrestleManias later, and it's, the most revered character of all time.
Right.
So thank you, Taker. That was, the big hashtag there, but it's fitting. And that feels like the thing that I take away from that WrestleMania. And it was very surreal to watch that, as 9 years before I worked him in the main event.
Yeah.
In that same building.
In that very stadium.
Yeah. So. And it was very strange, and I was like, wow, okay, I know what it's like to be in that ring, in this environment, this exact environment.
It's funny. Earlier you were talking about like long shows, and WrestleMania is always notoriously long. Obviously, it's the biggest show of the year for us, and of course everybody wants to have time and should get time on a show like that. That was your first main event of a WrestleMania, and obviously at the end of a long show, what was your mindset going into that, and how were you prepared to deal with maybe the possibility of having a crowd that was a little bit burnt out, that you might have to pull out a few extra tricks or change things up a little bit to get the reactions that you were looking for?
Well, see, I knew going in that Shawn and Rick would be so emotional, and I knew that was going to be what we had to, the bar that we had to go past, and it's a completely different match. That's what I felt good about. I was like, okay, this is the first time that Taker and I are working on pay-per-view. It's only the second time we ever worked a singles match, so it's fresh, it's new, and it's the beginning. Even though it was the middle of like a 1.5 year long program, it was the beginning of our actual matches, just because of Money in the Bank cash-ins and Hell in the Cell run-ins and all that stuff. That's what set the plate for our feud. This was our first actual match. So I knew going in, my idea was that I would be the guy that countered everything he did. And then when he tried again, I would re-counter. So it was all about counters until finally he figured out my counters and countered my counter. Right. That was the story that I wanted to tell going into that. And I didn't watch any of the other matches on the show. I didn't want to watch Shawn and Rick. I didn't want to watch any of that because I didn't want it to color ours.
Did you almost just say the other shit, or was it just something like, was it a...
No, I think I was going for other matches, but I didn't watch any of the other shit.
Yeah, other shit, man. Whatever. Doesn't matter.
And that was a solid Mania too. But I didn't watch any of the other matches because I just didn't want it to get in the way of my mindset in what I thought our match should be. And
right.
Yeah. So, but what's interesting about those outdoor stadiums is, unlike arenas, which just comes directly at you and is amazing. Like, you go in the Allstate Arena and the noise has no choice but to just boom straight into your ears. Well, you go in a stadium and it goes up and bounces off and comes back down to you. So there's a delay. So you have to prepare for that delay.
Right.
Well, in these outdoors, citrus bowls, etc., the sound goes up and it just goes. It doesn't come back to you.
Yeah.
So while you're out there, and I had this discussion with AJ at the after party, he was like, yeah, I wasn't sure. I couldn't really hear him. I was like, well, dude, that's because, the sound just goes straight out and doesn't come back. And he was like, oh.
It was the same thing with when we were in the newer, even the newer stadiums. They're much better with that because I feel like the ceilings are constructed different, maybe a little bit lower, obviously optimal for, sound and, for stadium, for like concerts and also for live games and things like that. But like, I remember we wrestled at the
Monster Jam.
Yeah, I remember we wrestled at the, I love me some Monster Jam. So I remember we wrestled at the Astrodome and it was the same type of thing. Like, it was like, we couldn't really tell if they were reacting or not. Like, you kind of see looks on people's faces and stuff, if you could see that. But it was, I remember watching it back and going, oh, okay, they were really reacting to this match. But out there, you couldn't hear anything. Like, man, they're not reacting at all of this. And we're doing some crazy stuff. So, but
yeah,
it is what it is. See, I said it again.
Yep. Yeah, you certainly did. I think we can't really move past Mania and talk about Raw and Smackdown.
I feel like I had another question for you. Oh, I was going to back up to your main event thing. I just want to add one thing because I remember I wasn't in WWE at the time. I had left for a couple of years when that was going on, and
I love that you never mentioned where you went for that couple of years.
I went to TNA. Well, I went home, and then I wrestled in TNA for a few years. But
I love your fake chuckle. Okay, sorry.
I can do many different ones.
Yeah, that was. I'm kind of pissed at you for mentioning that.
Okay. But the one thing I remember you texting me before, like asking me if I was going to watch it. And I said, yeah, of course I'm going to watch. And then the thing I liked about the match for me was I actually forgot about his Hell's Gate, was it Gogoplata?
Triangle, Gogoplata choker.
So I like almost forgot that it was part of his repertoire because it wasn't even teased or anything throughout the match until he caught you in the finish with it, and it was because they hadn't seen it yet. And when he caught you in it, I was like, oh, and the way that you speared him and then he wrapped you up in it, I was like I said, because it hadn't been teased or attempted earlier at all in the match, it's almost like you kind of forgot about it. So when it happened, it was a big reaction. It was kind of like the reaction you were looking for at that point in the match, I think.
Yeah. Well, it went back to I countered everything. The only thing I didn't counter was the one that I forgot about. And that, I guess, the audience forgot about too, which is what we were going for reaction-wise. Like, okay, countered everything. The last ride, the walking the ropes, the old school, all of it. But then couldn't count on that one.
Yep.
You're
the shits.
Yeah.
My cough.
So there's the cough. You popped yourself so hard you coughed.
I did.
Now, before we can move on to the Raw after Mania, Beach Ball Mania, whatever the hell it was called, and the SmackDown after Mania, I think we have to bring everyone up to date, refresh their memories on Mock Mania, hashtag Mock Mania, which we have now dubbed it, after having Shane on last week and a lot of trash talk had. The fact that he won Mock Mania last year, I could have won it when he was on a stretcher, but I didn't because I'm a bigger man.
Right. So what happened this year?
Would you...
Yeah,
well,
I would say,
what happened this year?
You could feel the hype. I mean, you could feel it.
Yeah, it was built.
You knew something was big. It was. You could feel it, especially when you walked through the halls of the hotel.
Yeah,
I felt like something big was going on.
Tight.
I saw random people walk around with mock blocks on.
Yeah,
they were obviously listening to the podcast, and whenever they see you, just kind of put the mock. They didn't want to be mocked.
No,
but I remember I ran into Shane early, and he immediately called truce again, put the mock block up, gave a little hug. And he's like, where is he? And I was like, I haven't seen him yet today. So he was on the lookout from you from the get-go.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure I know he got you first, correct?
He got me the day before Mania while I was playing with Lyric and holding her hands and dancing with her. That's the kind of human being I'm dealing with here.
Right. Well, all bets are off, right? And you were
all
exposed.
Bets are off. Fine. Yeah, all bets are off. And that leads me to what happened at Mania, because all bets are off. It's Mock Mania. This is war.
Right.
So it's Mania.
It's mock or be mocked. Let's call it what it is.
Mock or bust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so
and yeah, I mean, he was skulking around the hotel the whole time. Like, I saw him out of the pool, like, there was like this huge pool, like there was like 3 pools, and like, you look out and you see him, like, they have like obviously big like tropical plants and stuff, and you see his face. If you're looking at the one, you see his face peer through the thing, and he's looking around, he's looking for you. That's how crazy he is.
I'm in his head.
I know.
I'm in that ADD riddled head. So it's Mania, right? I get there at 6. I get there with the girls after sitting in traffic for an hour and a half, and the whole time I'm texting you, I'm texting Beth, Shane there? Okay. I don't know if Shane's there. Now, I wanted to record this on audio so that we could play it on the show, but it gets intense, folks. It wasn't going to happen.
This is a day of Mania, correct? This is a day of Mania?
This is Mania. Now, this is 6 p.m. Mania. Now, he's first match on Mania.
Right, so let me just back it up a second. So I got there a little bit earlier than you did, because I'm a professional. But
yeah.
But we, I just popped myself again. So I was standing there, I was talking to a couple guys, and all of a sudden I like feel this presence, and they had a couple like those big like touring buses kind of parked back behind there. I guess there wasn't a ton of locker room space, but they had like some buses and stuff back there, and all of a sudden I kind of feel this presence, and I kind of look around, and he's peering around this bus, and he's like, where is he? And I was like, he's not here. So then he steps out, and then he's like, we say that we've reaffirmed that we've truced, and then we have a talk, and then he's like, this is how I got to get him, and he's like, like I said, a couple hours before his Mania match, and he's worried about mocking you.
Yeah.
So
priorities.
So I was like, well, I think this is the window that he's going to be here at. So I'm not sure if he's coming back, but this is the time for him. So you might want to keep your guard up. and be aware of what's going on. And he's like, all right, man. So I was like, good luck. And he's like, thanks, buddy. And then we had a little small talk, and he left. But he was
the
still
fact
like,
that you completely throw me under the bus.
What?
By the way.
Well, I want to see some action.
Well, you'll get action, but why not be on, the guy who you do a podcast and television show and won 7 tag team titles with on your side instead of your fair weather friend. Oh, Shane, hey, Shane O'Mac, here comes the money. I'm going to dance around with you. Yeah,
I don't know. I get some sort of gratification of you being embarrassed, having like a look of disappointment on your face, and it's not about
because
me,
it so rarely happens, right? So now let me set the stage for you here. Backstage, I get there. I'm wearing a suit. It's 95. I don't know why I wear a suit. I got both girls there to see Beth. She looks beautiful. I'm like, hey, honey, where's Shane?
We should reiterate how hot it was backstage. Like
I just said it was 95.
No, I'm just saying though, but it was like you
hot.
Feel the sweat dripping from your head and roll down your back, like
right into your ass crack.
You just feel wet the entire time, like it was that hot. Oh my God, I hate feeling like
damp.
That. Yeah, and nowhere you couldn't get cool anywhere. It was so hot. Anyways,
yeah. So now I go to find him, right, and can't find him anywhere. So then I'm walking. I have seen Jericho now. And he's like, what are you doing? Because I'm covered. I have a mock protector on. Yeah. I walk into the tent, and there's Miz, and there's Bray, and everybody. And they're like, what's going on? I was like, no, don't worry about it. It's just a mock protector. Like, I have 10 heads. So I explained to Chris real quickly where it is. So Chris starts looking for him. He goes, I think he's up there. I didn't see him. So finally, I'm walking back up to, go see Beth. And I'm with Lyric. But I still have the mock protector. I feel this, like come flying at me from behind, this violent, stabbing attack. I turn. I have the mock protector. He pokes me in the eye. So, and this is now probably half an hour before his match. So he pokes me in the eye. I keep the mock protector up. He doesn't get the mock. He's like, wait, truce. I was like, no truce. No, but I have a match coming up. I was like, I don't care. You just came for it.
So it was almost like the reverse of like a pugilist, a boxer. So they say in boxing, you kill the body, then and the head will die, sort of thing, right? So you go to the body to get them to drop their hands and go to the head. So it was almost the reverse. He went high to get you to the eyes to get you to drop the hands so you get to the mock.
He didn't mean to get me in the eye, but when I turned and had the mock protector up, it slid his fingers up into my eye because my mock protector is so strong. It's like it has the force. You're not breaking that mock protector. Plus, I got a chin like a shovel. So he doesn't get it. He calls truce. I'm like, hell no. Ain't no truce now. I'm holding my daughter's hand, and you just tried to mock me right before your match? So then I skulk around, and he's like drenched in sweat. He's doing his, workout and getting ready and everything. He's in the zone. He broke the zone, obviously, for 10 seconds to try this.
Right.
I circle around the bus. He walks around. He goes, don't get him there. Fine. I see him start walking to one of the portable bathrooms. Now, Jericho's standing there witnessing this, and I rushed, and I pounced, and I dug in so deep and hard. I said, mock. I'm drenched. My suit is drenched from him. But I won Mock Mania, and he was so hot. He was so pissed. He just kept walking. He goes, looked back. He went, yeah, okay. And
the funny thing is how he's like laughing earlier, and he's so psyched up, and he's bouncing, and he's doing his Shane stuff, right? And then it's like you get him, and it just completely turns. He's so mad, like
took
legit
the wind
mad,
right out of his sails. He was so hot. Jericho goes, "Oh man, he's pissed." I was like, "Damn right he is," because I am Mock Mania champion for a year. And then, 15, 20 minutes later, he was out having his match. Yeah. But here's the thing: I could see the defeat in his eyes while he was out there. He was having his match and everything, but he was like, "Damn it, Edge won Mock Mania."
Yeah.
So there it is, folks.
Well,
this year's Mock Mania champion.
I do want to say something else. I mean, there's a little discrepancy. I think he's I think he's put in an official filed an official complaint.
He has filed it, but he also said no. He admitted to me one-on-one.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, we'll have to get that confirmation because we were back at the hotel after the show, and we're standing in the lobby, and he was holding his son. His son was sleeping on his shoulder.
Yeah.
And
I could have mocked him again, but I didn't because he was holding his son asleep. It was 11:52. I knew I had 8 minutes, and then I could mock him again. You told him what time it was.
Right.
I know the story. You went and told him, it's a new day, by the way, and he mocked me.
Right.
But let's face it, cheap mock, not a good mock.
Is it?
I won Mock Mania. He relented. He relented. I won Mock Mania. There was the same asterisk last year when I had him dead to rights while he was lying on a stretcher.
I think you've anointed yourself the winner. I'm not sure that.
I'm anointed. There's no. It's just is.
Maybe out there on.
He won it last year with an
voice.
asterisk. I won it this year with an asterisk. Fine,
All right.
Whatever.
Okay. I'm saying way too. We could also get people's opinions on the voicemail. They want to throw them in there and.
Yeah, we got a contest to worry about. We're going to narrow down voicemails to 5 finalists, but before we get there, we should probably talk about Mania and or post Raw Mania, some of the debuts that happened, the post SmackDown Mania, some of the debuts that happened, because now what you do is you take all of those WrestleMania people like you talked about from all over the world, these diehards that circle this on their calendar, they take time off work, this is their vacation, then you put them not in the Citrus Bowl where the sound goes straight up. You put them in an arena, 18,000 people, and now we are finally in the perfect element because all of those raucous fans, all of those diehards, they can direct it directly at the performers, and this is really what you want to get into. This is the meat and potatoes of it. So you have Roman Reigns. He stands out there for 10 minutes, doesn't say a word, gets booed relentlessly. Huge reaction. Okay, and then you get the debuts, and that was really for me what's exciting. The shocks and surprises, people from NXT, people coming back from injury, and for me the big one was the Revival, because as you know, I've always been a big fan of those guys. I think they're great kids, very talented, throwbacks, doing just really on point right now, firing on all cylinders. So to see them make their main roster debut, and Beth and I went to the NXT show on the Saturday night and got to see their triple threat with DIY and Authors of Pain, and it was just really good. And those can be difficult matches, and kind of contrasting styles and all of those things. But and obviously the other two teams deserve just as much credit, don't get me wrong. But I've been on their bandwagon before they had a bandwagon. I think I built the damn bandwagon. So I was very happy to see them, come in, knock over that ice cream cart, dash stomp on it. And to me it was very like, okay, we're here.
Are you done?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh. I mean, you can add something. I was just, since you usually fall out and don't say anything or put yourself over, I figured, okay, well, I guess.
No, I 100% agree. Like, I mean, the cool thing about the Raw After Mania, and I think that they even have the hashtag Raw After Mania, I think it's become its own, animal, so to speak. It's like people almost look forward to the Raw After Mania just because they're like, and they kind of go into business for themselves a little bit with the chance, but that's also kind of what makes it fun, like with the beach ball and the whole deal. And, the different chants and things like that. But yeah, they're expecting, it's basically the start of the new road to WrestleMania. It's like, it's on, it's the new season. So they want to see, the same thing, excited for what's going to happen. And who's going to debut and those sorts of things. But yeah, I mean, it's always a cool atmosphere to be in, especially as a performer, because it's fun not to know what you're going to get in something, you're going to get something different and kind of crazy and cool. And, but yeah, I agree. The Revival, the arrival of the Revival.
Oh, I see what you did.
Look what I did there. I just gave him a little something for that promo.
But yeah, that's a new T-shirt for him. Do we get? Right. You better get a cut of that.
Yeah, I should. But the thing is, I think the thing we appreciate about them is that they're like a throwback tag team. Makes it. I like the little the catchphrase, no flips, just fists. Perfect. They have a little bit of swagger on them. Because they're like, a little chip on the shoulder. Maybe
they think they're the best in the world,
right?
And it's obviously subjective, but arguably they are.
And in this industry, you have to feel like you're the best in the world.
Yeah,
you have to. You have to feel like there's nobody better than you.
Well,
because everything's on your shoulders when you're out there. It's up to you. So if you don't think you're the best, why should anybody else think you're the best?
Well, you want to know what's exciting to me is I always kind of looked at the Hardys, Edge and Christian rivalry like the Rock and Roll Express, Midnight Express. And, so now we have the Hardys back, which we didn't even talk about at WrestleMania.
I just realized.
Which was massive and huge and amazing, and I was smiling my ass off. So you have that'll happen at WrestleMania. Okay, fine. Now the Hardys are back. They're Raw Tag Team Champions, and I looked at it, and when I saw the Revival, I was like, oh, now the Hardys have their Arn and Tully.
Mm-hmm.
Now they've had their Midnights, they've had with the Dudleys, they've had their Legion of Doom. You know, they've had their Road Warriors. Now they get their Brainbusters, their right. Horsemen, their Arn and Tully. It's got to build to that, and I cannot wait to see those matches.
Well, you got to think about it too, right? I mean, it seems like tag team wrestling is cyclical, right? So sometimes it's kind of fades away for a few years. Yes,
cyclical. You said
sometimes
like a
if I pronounce things fast,
book.
I jumble them. So I said it very slow to make sure I got it out. But like speaking of the Hardys, they obviously, and I think we both meant to touch on this when we were talking about WrestleMania. Obviously, huge to have them back.
I don't know how we
Amazing
forgot
reaction when they came out. You could tell how excited they were, and the fans were to see them. And cool surprise. And they're going to, but this could be, how when we were there with the Hardys, that kind of rebooted, kind of kick-started, gave the tag team division a little shot in the arm. And not to say, they got some good teams with Enzo and Cass and Sheamus and Cesaro, but this just bumps it up a level with both these guys coming back, and it's good for everybody, because, you can just start slotting guys in and out with different teams, but it puts a good onus on that division that it's legit and it's something to get excited for.
And a huge tip of the hat to them that they were part of, whether you want to call it the kind of rejuvenation of tag team wrestling back then. I think it's been good, but as you said, this gives it a completely different element of boost, and possibly kind of a resurgence of tag team wrestling again, which has been happening in NXT and has been happening with New Day and the Usos and with Gable and Jordan and guys like that. But
maybe the Dudleys came back a year too early.
Yeah. Well, now Devon's a suit though.
Is
it's
he?
too late. Oh yeah, he's entrenched. He's a suit now. Yeah, he's got his own box up there at WrestleMania with his family in there and air conditioning. The rest of us are sweating. Yeah. So the Hardys back. Revival. Finn Balor makes his return on Raw. And then you flip to SmackDown, and a guy who refused to take no for an answer, who just kept plugging away, bumping into a wall, but finding a different path. Ty Dillinger makes his SmackDown debut. Couldn't be happier for that guy, man.
No, I
super,
think...
super nice guy. Great work ethic, works hard, just loves wrestling.
It took sometimes he's kind of like a classic late bloomer, so to speak, right? Had all the tools, always did, just couldn't figure out a way to connect and get that sustained connection with the audience that you need to have longevity. And he was here with WWE years ago in developmental, and I think he made a brief appearance on TV, like on ECW or something, and then he was gone. And he came back, and like you said, great guy, great in the ring, great work ethic. He was just missing that one little something that was going to get him over the hump. And I'd gone down to the Performance Center a few times, and he and I had sat down and talked, and he picked my brain, and we talked about different things, and I gave him my numbers, like, call me anytime, and he did. He called me, he texted me, and what about this, what about that, and I would give him, but you can help try to guide a guy, and I'm not saying, like, I had nothing to do with the Perfect 10 thing. We were talking about completely other ideas
saying you
that
made
he
it
had.
up.
What's that?
You're saying you came up with it.
No, I didn't. We were talking about different characters that he was trying to work on. And so I was trying to help him tweak those and that sort of thing. But, you can have people help you with those sorts of things, but sometimes it's just, you have to find the one, right? And it's, and I don't know, I just think that this was the one that was right for him. And all those other things, like, you're scrambling because you're like, man, I need to do something, or because you never know. You never know if, like, tomorrow could be the end, So you're trying to find that one thing. And kudos to him for finding it and making it his own and getting it over. And I'm just so happy for him because he really deserves it. And I hope he has a great run and a great career because he's such a good dude.
Yep. Real quickly, I'm going to say, when I first tore my pec, I want to say this was probably 2005, 2006, maybe. No, it'd be, I don't know. Anyway, one of those years. And I went to Rob Echeverria El Fuego's school in Toronto just to knock the rust off. It was Sean Spears, Ty Dillinger, and Michael Elgin were in the ring. And, there was other students, and Rob said, well, who do you want to get in there with? I was like, those two. I don't want to get in with anybody else. No offense to anybody else, but those are the two I want to get in with. And so they helped me knock the rest off, and I felt safe with them, which is, that's
and you big leagued everyone else. Gotcha.
Yeah, pretty much. I was like, yeah, okay.
Stay away from me, fucking marks.
You'd probably hurt me. Okay, you guys. So, also Nakamura. Also debuted.
Yeah,
he's on SmackDown, which I think is the perfect show for him. You see guys, you got AJ. There's a gimme match going back to Wrestle Kingdom. And
here's the cool thing too is that maybe it was a little bit long. Maybe he should have debuted a lot sooner than this, but on the main roster, and I think everybody was maybe expecting him to show up on that Raw after Mania. So it was almost like even a cooler tease in that sense to. He's not going to debut, and then have him come out on SmackDown Live, which was, like you said, perfect place for him. Entrance was great. He's going to do well, man. He's just got this charisma about him that, you can't teach. You just kind of, he's just different, and that's what's cool about him.
I would really like to see him and Jeff Hardy in a singles match.
Yeah.
Also, real quickly, I don't know what the deal is with lawsuits and things like that, but it'd be really... I'm hoping Matt and Jeff can bring Broken and Brother Nero over eventually.
That'd be cool.
I don't know what that whole deal is there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It will get
so that'll
over.
happen. Yeah. So Mania, WrestleMania. Interview with Beth Phoenix coming up about the Hall of Fame, everything else about her career, about how much she loves me, all those good things. And for decades, one big razor company has relentlessly increased prices and reaped immense profits at the expense of its customers.
Right, so Jeff and Andy, two ordinary guys like me, like you, like Edge, like Mega Matt, they were fed up with getting ripped off, so they started Harry's to fix shaving.
Harry's knew there was only one way to ensure quality, so they bought their own blade factory, brother.
Right. By taking less profit and selling directly to you over the internet, Harry's offers their blades at half the price.
Just $2 a blade compared to the $4 or more you'll pay at the drugstore.
Harry's is so confident you will love their blades. They're giving you their trial set for free. Just cover $3 in shipping.
Your free trial set includes a weighted ergonomic razor handle, 5 precision-engineered blades with a lubricating strip and trimmer blade, rich lathering shave gel, and a travel blade cover.
Ooh, you had me at rich lathering shave gel. That's a $13 value for you to try.
Stop messing around and get started shaving with Harry's today by claiming your free trial offer. $13 value for free. Just cover shipping.
That's right. To get your free trial set, including a razor handle, 5-blade cartridge, and shave gel, go to harrys.com/awesomeness right now.
That's harrys.com/awesomeness.
Your face is going to love you for it.
Now, we have our voicemail contest.
Right. We do. This is big.
So, it is big. We haven't heard these again. Let's preface this by saying we never hear these. Mega Matt goes through. He gets it, whittles it down, and says, okay, here they are. Listen, guys. And then we listen, and here's what we're going to narrow it down to 5 finalists. Now, let's also tell everyone here that you can do the same impersonation, but have some funny, banter in it. You don't just have to stick it can be ridiculous.
Yeah.
It can be, Bushwhacker Luke, commentating a NASCAR race, whatever. There's no boundaries. There's no parameters here. So if you got a good, barbarian, then stick with it, but just make your content different.
Make it your own.
Saying? Yeah.
Make it your own. Make us laugh, entertain us, and then the big payoff is you get to come on the pod and hang out with us and find out how cool I am.
Yeah, shall we?
Let's do it.
The hot rod, Roddy Piper, let me tell you something. Sexton, Hardcastle, and Christianity, or whatever your name is, you guys may be able to walk the walk. But I've been doing this gig since I can talk, man. So why don't you two come down to Piper's Pit? I'll make you a bologna and liverwurst sandwich. I'll make you go nighttime when I slap on that sleeper. And don't think I forgot about you, Saddam Hussein. All of our people in the red, white, and blue are going to run all over you. And Hogan... don't think I forgot about you too, man.
Okay. He pronounced Hogan just the way Roddy did. I like the inclusion of Saddam Hussein for no reason whatsoever.
Right.
I don't know how strong the actual Roddy was, though. Okay.
Well, not very strong. I'm
okay,
going to go on a limb and say it was the shits.
Okay. Let's see who else we got.
Edge and Christian.
Warrior.
I have a question for you. I am the ultimate warrior.
Is that a question?
When you travel to WrestleMania, will you storm the cockpit, Edge and Christian? And will your passenger, Hulk Hogan, shove the controls into the ground, Edge and Christian, as you return to parts unknown?
Okay, pretty solid.
That's
pretty solid. I'm glad that he did the WrestleMania 6 promo.
Right. It was very relevant to the time frame that we're in, and also that was. I'm not going to blow smoke on my, but I'm going to. That's one of my classic impersonations. I do that go-tos. Warrior. I do that promo myself.
Yeah. So again, back to putting yourself over. So
right.
What'd you think of this guy?
I liked it. I actually thought it was good, and like I said, it's. I think
he's already ahead of Roddy.
He knew how to score points with me. I think he knew that. I like him.
Now, that being said, I would love to hear a good Roddy.
I would love to hear a good Roddy, but I think Roddy's a hard guy to impersonate.
He is. There's only one Roddy.
Right.
Okay, so we may have our first of 5 finalists. Let's keep rolling.
Do it.
Hey guys, Stone Cold Steve Austin here. I just want to say I think you're both doing a kick-ass job on your new podcast. I love it. It's great. So I was listening to Christian talking about how his new phone was stolen some years ago, and I was disappointed to hear they never found the guy. Because, if it were me, I would have found the son of a bitch and got my phone back. So if you want to see Stone Cold Steve Austin drive to West Virginia, find Christian's phone, and open up a can of whoop ass, then give me a hell yeah! And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
Oh, hell yeah. I want him to find my phone. I like him. He's through.
I think, yeah. I mean, Will Sasso, no one does a better Stone Cold Steve Austin than Will Sasso. So he's got a lot to one. But it was a good one. It was a damn good one. So, all right. Okay.
And also, what I liked was he tied into what we were talking about on the show, which was pretty awesome. And,
yes. That was smart.
Very good.
That was smart.
Very good. Put your own sauce on it.
First of all, Ben Man, the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels is gearing up for WrestleMania this Sunday night, and the fact of the matter is there is no better way for Mr. WrestleMania to gear up to steal the show than to listen to the E&C Podcast of Awesomeness. I'm talking about Edge and Christian, 2 guys who I have beaten numerous times around the world and will continue to do so if the opportunity arises. There's nobody hotter in the World Wrestling Federation than yours truly, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels.
It went in and out.
I think the inflections were there. I'm just not sure I'm not going to get technical and break it down, but
it went in and out for me, kind of like a hooker in Amsterdam.
That's all I'm going to say about it. What's next?
Say your prayers, little one. And don't forget my son. To include everyone, because I will tuck you in, warm within. I'll keep you free of sin till the Sandman he comes. This has been your old pal, Morgan Freeman.
Oh my goodness. Oh my God.
I love that for no reason whatsoever. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, man. Take a chance.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be Heartbreak Kid. It doesn't have to be Roddy Piper. It can be goddamn Morgan Freeman. And everybody loves Morgan Freeman. Shawshank Redemption. Every other movie made. Yeah, so me personally, I think Morgan's going through.
I like Morgan, man. I like he took a chance.
Yep.
Fuck, I like that guy.
Take a chance, Key. All right. What else we got?
Hey, you chump stains, it's your buddy Kane. And I've got 2 words for ya. Suck it.
Okay, well, disqualified already. I have no idea who that was. Not Kane. If you were going to do Kane, you go suck it because he used to hold the throat thing.
You almost have to put it to your own throat and be like suck it.
Yeah, you got to fight through that one. You can't just go suck it like you're nasally. What was that? Come on, man! I need more than that. I need Morgan Freeman. God damn it! Suck it. Like I just did it better, and I'm not even trying. So
you didn't do it better.
I did it better than that guy.
Maybe.
Yeah. All right.
Woo! It's the Nature Boy. Woo! Ric Flair, 16 times. Woo! WWE champion. Woo!
No, it's not WWE champion.
Champion also. Woo! And NWA. Woo! Champion.
That was
relying on those woos, huh?
Yeah. He had a good woo, but yeah, and he didn't even know that he wasn't WWE. There was never there was WWF. Come on, man.
Overwooed.
At least get that stuff right. He overwooed. He did.
Yeah, you can't overwoo. You got to use the woo when when it's required. You can't.
The woo has to punch it. The woo can't be the comma. It's the exclamation point.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You overwooed, dude.
Yep.
Hi, Agent Christian. I know that you know who I am. But just in case you don't, my name is Paul Heyman, and I am the advocate for the reigning, defending, undisputed Universal Champion Brock Lesnar. Now, Brock has some beef with you because you made the stupid decision to put Goldberg on your show before Brock.
Okay.
That sounds like Gilbert Gottfried.
Yeah, or I thought it was like him I thought it was Raven at first. Someone doing a Raven impression.
He sounds like the Anflack.
Super random also, but I mean like...
Anflack.
Yeah, pretty much. But like he didn't even do the I don't need to hear anymore. He didn't even go like Brock Lesnar. Like he didn't even...
You got to get laryngitis on that.
Yeah.
You know, you got to like you're hawking a loogie.
I can't listen to that shit, Matt. Don't fucking do that to my ears again.
Hi, how are you? This is the Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I want to come on your podcast of awesomeness. And maybe we can reminisce about the WWE. You know, I'm good friends with Triple H, my buddy Paul. You know, we like to smoke cigars and listen to Motorhead. You know, maybe we could reminisce about the time Vince McMahon gave me the world title on SmackDown. Yeah. And then I punched Triple H right in his face before he cut all his hair off, you know. Anyway, we could reminisce about anything on the podcast. So one time, you know, I was trying to get a Turbo Man doll for my son, and my neighbor was eating all my fucking cookies. And I was like, put that cookie down now. Well, maybe I can interview you. You know, I could ask you a couple of questions, you know, like, who is your daddy? And what does he do? You know, also, maybe I could bring my pet ferret. You know, he's just a ferret. He won't hurt you. Anyway, hopefully, you know, I can be on the podcast and we'll have a great time. Yeah.
Okay, I like Arnold.
Like him.
He went a little long, but I love the fact that he had a pet ferret.
Well, here's the thing, too. I like that he was super random. Like, that's cool.
Yeah.
And I also am pretty... You know, also it excites me. It makes me happy that like the two. Yeah, I'm excited about it. The two front runners seemingly are Morgan Freeman and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah,
which is kind of cool.
Yeah, who'd have thunk it? All right, let's see who else we got.
Hey pal, this is Vince McMahon. Just calling to tell you if you would come down to my office. I just need to let you know that you're fired.
Okay. Vince McMahon doesn't have a southern accent.
No, least intimidating Vince impression I've ever heard. Probably
your Vince is way better. And if you're going to call in and do this, you got to watch our TV show and realize that Christian's Vince is going to be tough to top. Right? God damn it! Here we go. Let's see.
Christian, you're out of your fucking mind if you thought that wasn't the real Howard Finkel.
This is the real Howard Finkel, and you did forget to book my travel. Once again, this wasn't Luke Gallows. This wasn't an impersonator impersonating Luke Gallows. This is the fucking Howard Finkel. So don't you fucking forget it. Thank you very much, Edge and Christian. I look forward to being on your podcast someday.
All right. Well, that's the finalists.
Yeah. I like that Howard has a little moxie.
Yeah. I don't think I will ever hear Howard Finkel swear.
No.
So hearing this Howard swear, I kind of enjoyed that.
I did too. It makes me want to hear
moxie,
the real Howard
that's
swear.
A good word.
Yeah.
Now, if someone wanted to do a Vince impersonation, they would have used the word moxie if they really knew what they were doing. Yeah. Okay, so I say Morgan Arnold in.
Morgan Arnold in. I say so too.
Okay. I say, what do you think, Stone Cold?
Yep.
Warrior?
Yeah, and Howard?
And Howard.
Yep, there you go.
That's our final 5.
Yeah, you see how much thought we put into this? I was counting them with my fingers to make sure it was 5.
So was I.
Through. So it's fucking legit.
Yeah.
You know?
And we're bigger than the final 4. We got the final 5.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So there's our finalists. Now you guys, you final 5 finalists, just know you can pick somebody different. But hey, if Arnold is your wheelhouse, stay in your wheelhouse. Just make it random. Have fun with it. I love the fact that you had a ferret. Yeah, I didn't see that one coming. So just have fun with it, and we'll all have fun, and we're good to go with final 5. What do you think about that, Jay?
I'm still fucking mind blown on the ferret.
You're listening to ENC's Pod of Awesomeness.
Are you hiring? Do you know where to post your job to find the best candidates?
Posting your job in one place isn't enough to find quality candidates.
Right. If you want to find the perfect hire, you need to post your job on all the top job sites. And now you can.
With ZipRecruiter.com, you can post your job to 200-plus job sites, including social media networks like Facebook and Twitter, all with a single click.
Find candidates in any city or industry nationwide. Just post once and watch your qualified candidates roll into ZipRecruiter's easy-to-use interface.
No juggling emails or calls to your office. Just quickly screen candidates, rate them, and hire the right person fast.
Find out today why ZipRecruiter has been used by Fortune 100 companies and thousands of small and medium-sized businesses.
And right now, my listeners, your listeners, our listeners can post jobs on ZipRecruiter for free by going to ZipRecruiter.com/awesomeness.
That's ZipRecruiter.com/awesomeness. One more time. To try it for free, go to ZipRecruiter.com/awesomeness.
Awesomeness. So there we go. We have our 5 finalists. We've talked about Mock Mania. We've talked about WrestleMania. We've talked about the Raw and Smackdown after Raw. Now, without further ado, it's time for the meat and potatoes of the show.
Right.
It's time for our interview.
Right.
Your get.
We'll we'll clarify it in the interview. Let's hear it. Play it, Matt.
Yeah. So here we are.
And I know
post Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame. And I know that last couple weeks when we were talking about our guest, they were obviously, I admitted they were your gets. So this week what I did was, I know I promised Dog the Bounty Hunter, but I threw a little change up. And I called in a favor to a close personal friend of mine who I've known for many years. And I don't want to brag, but I'm so over with this person. Brand new Hall of Fame inductee. Beth Phoenix, she has agreed to do this for me.
I don't think I agree. I think this is, again, 3 weeks in a row, my get.
I actually, I'd like to. Oh,
No, go ahead, Beth. Let's get you.
Can I say something?
Oh yeah.
Wait,
Beth's here.
You're just a guest. You can't talk.
I just want to thank Christian, my good friend Christian, for thinking of me because our friendship means so much, and I'm so happy to do your podcast. Podcast.
His podcast.
Because, I've been looking forward to this opportunity, and your ratings have been so great that I've been so excited.
You've been chomping at the bit. You've been clamoring.
I have been.
I'm sweaty with anticipation.
And I've been waiting for that invitation wink, wink, and I just haven't gotten it. So, I just want to thank you, Christian,
I'm just
from the
glad
bottom
that,
of my heart.
I'm just glad that you saw my sign when you were reading your speech, the most, probably important speech of your professional career, and you looked out and you saw the sign I was holding up and said, "Hey, Beth, come do the ENC Pod of Awesomeness." I had that up in the middle of Hall of Fame.
Yeah, with your Sharpie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you wiped it off for every person being inducted.
Right.
Because at first it said DDP.
Yeah, Beth's the only one that called me back.
Yeah.
So.
Because I don't have any other friends. And I'm always available and very desperate. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, for those listening, in case they don't know, we should probably fill them in that we're married and that we have 2 kids together, 2 beautiful daughters.
We do, yes.
We should also probably let them know
that
it's because of me you guys are married, in the sense that, Beth called me and asked for permission because she said, we've pretty much been married since 6th grade. And she said, look,
one way of looking at it.
She said, do I have your blessing? Because I know that, and I was a little hurt, but I got to be honest with you, it's a little bit of relief that I don't have to deal with you on such a full-time basis.
Yeah.
So,
it's a relief for you.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think anybody who watches a TV show realizes the actual dynamic of who's dealing with who. But that's another conversation for another day.
Right.
I think you are bear witness to how that actual this relationship, this dynamic, actually plays out.
Well, I think you guys are at a point in your relationship where you're just at that grumpier stage where that's the way you show your affection for each other. We have a little bit more of that fresh love.
Oh yeah.
We're still a little enchanted by each other, which
right.
little. If we give it 25 years maybe,
then we'll be grizzled.
We'll be grizzled and grumpy too.
Right now him and I are Jack Lemmon, Walter Matthau.
Yes.
We're grumpy old men.
Yes.
Got
exactly.
it. Okay.
Picking on each other, leaving a fish in the back seat under
or like the Rock and Roll Express.
Yes.
In their Hall of Fame speech.
That would probably be us.
Grizzled love.
Yeah. They love each other.
Yeah.
We'll go that far.
Right.
But they hate each other.
Right.
Just a little.
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
But
hate's too strong a word.
No.
But they're annoyed.
There's that one where you don't want to talk to the person and see them, and you're okay with that for a little bit.
Yeah.
But you love them and would do anything for them.
So once again on our podcast, we're now talking about ourselves consistently and not.
No, we're talking about the Rock and Roll Express.
Well, yeah, we're kind of talking about ourselves. I think we should talk about that.
I think we should because, first of all, Hall of Fame this year, great class going in. And you might not be able to say it because people will say that you're maybe a little biased, but I'll say it. I might be a little biased too, but I thought, in my personal opinion, I thought Beth stole the show with her speech. And I thought you delivered a very poignant, a very heartfelt, from just a pure speech. And the cool thing about it was, from my perspective, and I think probably most people's perspective, was that you thanked everybody, you talked about everybody but yourself, and how much it meant to all the people that helped you along the way to get there. And I think that's what made it so special for me.
Oh, well, thanks for saying so. I mean, anybody that complimented me on the speech, I've just kind of told them the same thing. It's it was very easy to say those words because not only was it true, but, these were all people I cared about and that cared about me. And when you're talking about things that are real, it just kind of falls out. It's not contrived, and it didn't take me long to write that speech. And it was things and people that I felt that way about for a long, long time. And I was so happy to have that platform to be able to tell some stories that, from these wonderful people that had done things, not expecting anything back, like Afa, who had, I would drive from Buffalo to Pennsylvania to do his shows, and he gave me opportunities and taught me so much, and I didn't have any money. And Afa was like, well, instead of buying a hotel room or paying for a hotel room, you're going to stay with us and you're going to eat our food, and I'm going to give you gas money, and you're going to drive back home and be okay, and call me when you get there. He genuinely cared.
That's great.
And so it was nice to have that platform to be able to tell those stories. And I think that's what makes the wrestling business so special, is it's this brotherhood.
Yeah. There's guardian angels to everyone's story.
Yeah.
I know for me, Johnny Smith was a guy that took me in when I had no money, and as long as I babysit their daughter so that they could go out on dates, they fed me, they put a roof over my head so that I could go train at Brett's. Otherwise, it doesn't happen. And it sounds like the same thing. You got to go, you got to get there, but they take care of you. And it really is that weird kind of pay it forward type of industry.
Well, and I think like sometimes when I was thinking about the speech and like how to structure it and like what I would say, your tendency is to want to go linear. Like I started here and then I went here and da-da-da-da and I ended up here. But my career, I don't feel like it was linear. I feel like it was kind of like this quilt with like all these patches on it.
Whoa.
And everybody just kind of contributed a patch to me. And then I ended up this menagerie of different like awesome people. And I know I'm using some big words.
Analogies.
I've been reading Webster's Dictionary. But anyways, like I just feel like that's the way I was looking at the speech, is like it's almost like a quilt. Like just it's all small pieces that made a greater whole. And I didn't know where to begin with thanking everybody. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to start from the beginning and name everybody.
Well, I think a cool story for me in there that I didn't know about was when Molly Holly, Nora.
And that was, nobody knew it.
Yeah. And
that's Nora.
And
she won't.
Yeah. And she's just like, if you ever meet her or know her, she's the sweetest person you'll ever meet. Like a genuinely nice person. And like I said, when I heard it, I was surprised, but I wasn't surprised. Surprised because I didn't know the story, but not surprised because that's the kind of person she is. But again, also seeing the same passion that a person like her, she had that type of passion. She saw that in you and wanted you to be able to kind of fulfill and get to where she was at the time. So she was willing to kind of, like Adam said earlier, pay that forward. And I think that was a pretty cool thing and a pretty, it was great that she was there to be able to, hear you say that. And I'm sure it meant a lot to her.
Well, I've been telling that story for years to anyone that would listen, but I just never have had a platform big enough to like be able to put it out there, because like I feel like Nora is one of those people that just doesn't want to be, patted on the back. She didn't do that to be patted in the back. She genuinely, and she actually told me when I asked her later, like, why would you do that for, someone you hardly know? And she said, because Macho Man did those types of things for me. And I learned from that experience, like, and AFA, and, just seeing the way everybody that loves wrestling so much and wants to see it continue and develop and grow, the only way you can do that is by supporting the next generation and helping people that love it and are going to stick with it and be better,
Well, I think that's the key too. I mean, like you said, I think when you get people like that who have been in the industry for a long time, especially when you get like the Samoan dynasty, and they can see who wants to make the sacrifices, because so you joined the wrestling team in your high school, the only female to do so, because there wasn't a female wrestling team at that point. It wasn't in vogue to be a female wrestler. There wasn't women's MMA. There wasn't all of those outlets. So you created your own outlets, and in order to supplement what you wanted to be your pro wrestling career eventually. And I mean, the road that we took, at least there was a path. There wasn't much of a path for women in this industry for a long time to be able to follow to get somewhere.
Well, when you say a path, like even when you guys started, there's no book written, and there's still to this day no book written on like how do I become a pro wrestler? Because if there were, it would be a heck of a lot less interesting, I think, too, because everybody comes from so many different backgrounds. Right. And in my career, even with WWE, I didn't really care where anyone came from. Like some people were really quick to like dismiss the models, the divas or whatever, like, girls that had come from a background, they were modeling or swimsuit model or whatever. But I didn't really care where you came from. All that mattered to me is what you did when in front of me, when you got there, and so many girls like transformed themselves and wanted to learn and had really genuine passion. So why would I care that, you made a living before off your good looks? You're beautiful. Why wouldn't you? If that's what you chose, great. But if all that mattered was your attitude when you got there, and maybe for women, it's changing now, but I still don't think like even the guys, like I said, there's no book written when you guys started either. You just had to kind of like scrape and claw and bump around in the dark, as I like to call it. Like you don't really know, and you catch your footing on something that works, and then continue that direction.
Well, what's interesting, so rewind back to when Beth and I first started talking on the level of wait a minute, we might be forming a relationship here. It was the Edge Appreciation Night in Toronto, and which was such a weird concept to me, but it was very sweet and very cool of them to do. It was just kind of embarrassing, right? So it's like, this is your life. Well, that day I had talked to Beth, and really blew me away because we had always been in, hey Beth, hey Adam, how are you? You know, yeah, I think I found out later she was scared to death of me, and
terrified.
We never really had a conversation, but that day we did.
That was probably because I was telling her, man, this Edgy's such a loser. Like, you don't want to talk to him. Like,
he was doing his best to knock you down a few notches because I had you on this pedestal. It's like, it was Edge, Taker, Shawn Michaels, and you were of a generation, as crazy as it sounds. I watched you guys on TV, and while I was in college, my friends and I were ribbing each other, bloodbathing our cars with those, fruit drinks, those Mondo fruit drinks.
Mondo fruit drinks.
Yeah, do you know what I'm talking about? Those long, skinny bottles. And while one of us would be in class, you'd come back out and be like, oh, I got bloodbath. And you'd have that sticky, syrupy, nasty stuff that had baked in the Buffalo
destroy
sun.
Your paint
Oh, it was horrible. My poor Geo Prism. I loved that car.
Yeah.
Sweet, sweet Geo. But, but anyway, so it was a little surreal, and just the whole beginning of our relationship was, it was a process of getting to know you because, like I said, you were in that club of guys that I was like, he's a leader and he's got his act together, and it just took a little while to get comfortable.
But our first conversation, as after I was retired and we were talking and everything, then we started realizing, okay, trained by the same person, Ron Hutchison, all three of us, Trish Stratus, Gail Kim, Johnny Swinger, Al Fuego, Joe Legend, like a lot of really well-trained people. Didn't know any of that. Didn't know that you wrestled in all the same dive bars that I did, just kind of, and Jay did, like 7 years later,
Cactus
8 years
Pete's.
later. Yeah. Cactus Pete's, yeah. Like, I had no concept of that because we'd never gone kind of deeper than, hey, what's up?
And actually, in OVW, I missed you by like 3 days because when I had gotten the call from Danny and stuff, the whole Nora story, to come down and train, you were there like the week before or coming back from a hand. Was it not Achilles? Pec, right, or bicep? There's so many, so many. I don't know, but you were rehabbing, and then you got injured again.
Neck.
Was it your neck?
It was from my neck, and then I rolled my foot and broke my.
You broke your hand at OVW. And
what the hell?
And I got there like on the Monday, and I remember hearing the guys buzzing and talking to me like, Edge just broke his hand and rolled his ankle here, and he's hurt again, and after being out for a while. So I said, we missed each other in OVW.
Just two ships passing in the night.
Yeah.
I was like a big battleship, a big rusty battleship that kept getting with a big foghorn every time I bump.
Yeah. That was probably just your ass from farting all the time.
I'm sure it probably was.
Yeah. Adam has a gas problem.
I lost control after a while. Too many bumps, and it just.
Yeah. But
you still attracted to me?
But you stewed yourself off, though. Here's the thing. Here's the thing with the farts is like, you do have a gas problem, but you could get away with it most times. But you always look at me with the guilty face, oh,
is she gonna sell this one?
And I can't help it because it's to the point now where getting a little bit older, and make a sudden movement, and it's like, oh, I didn't mean for that to happen. So I immediately look over to see if she heard it, or if I can blame it on one of the dogs, or if I can blame it on Ruby because she's only 10 months old and she can't deny it yet.
Right.
Whereas Lyric can say, no, that wasn't me, that was you, Dad. I can't do that. But with Ruby, I still can.
That's really cruel to blame your child. Your flesh and blood.
She's adorable, though. So you let the fart go with her.
But it's not cute. It doesn't smell cute.
So another thing, getting back to the Hall of Fame speech.
Oh yeah,
that thing that I thought was cool was you gave after you thanked all the divas and the women's wrestlers that you had previously went on your journey with, and then you gave a shout out to the kind of newer generation of women that we see now that are killing it. They're doing awesome. And what's cool to me is that first that you acknowledged them and gave them a shout out, because I think that, in my opinion, from the Attitude Era was like a lot of like gimmick type women matches with the bra and panty matches and those sorts of things, where it wasn't necessarily always taken as serious as it could have or should have been taken. And when you came in, and Natty and a few other women of that nature started to kind of maybe change, to kind of start to lay the groundwork for that to kind of change. So I think that it was important that you mentioned the past and the future, because I feel like you were one of the main people that, like I said, started to change the perception of, hey, we don't just have to put them out there in one segment on the show in one specific, like a Santa's Helper match or something like that. They don't have to be, used in that capacity. Can contribute much more on a bigger platform, and I think I just thought it was a great thing for you to do in your speech.
Well, thanks. I mean, the opportunities the girls have now are awesome, but it also takes talented women to pull it off.
Right.
Like, that's the thing. Like, it would be great for the company to be like, forward on this Divas evolution and giving the women an equal role in the company. But if you didn't have quality performers to pull it off, then it wouldn't work. So, they are now in this renaissance of amazing women that are athletic and doing things you've never seen before. Not to say previous girls couldn't have done this, but they didn't have the platform. It's just the time is right. The crowd wants it. And sometimes that's the biggest thing. I was talking to Bailey yesterday, and I was like, you guys are spearheading this movement, but you're also accomplishing what everybody has been working toward. If you guys didn't have the right talent at the right time, it wouldn't be happening. So, I'm grateful for that, because I wanted that so badly. And now I'm so proud and happy to see that happening on the level that it is.
Well, it's interesting to see, like you said, from the late 90s and everything, and how little by little it seemed to start getting better. But there was some really leanly written years for the women's division, and I remember just thinking, like, okay, 3 minutes? How can you tell a story in 3 minutes? And I would, sit down with Natty and go over a match with her after the fact, and we'd critique and things like that. And I just remember thinking, on the house shows, you guys had freedom, and I see you guys have these amazing matches, and I'm like, why aren't they getting this opportunity on TV? And I was frustrated by it. But I do think that the world started changing, and you have Serena Williams, and then you have Ronda Rousey come out, and UFC, while at first they didn't want to accept it, they had no choice. And I think that spearheaded the WWE to go, oh, wait a minute. Meanwhile, the whole time they had these women that could have done that and could have been ahead of the curve, but it was just still stuck in the molasses of the late 90s kind of thing. But I think that kind of broke down the door for them to go, oh, okay, we better latch onto this too. And, we do have this locker room full of talented women to be able to do it. The talent was always there.
Well, and you read my mind, when you mentioned the live events, because, when people think back on my career, sometimes they're like, well, I don't remember you being on TV a lot. Well, I wasn't, because our times were very, very short and limited while I was working for WWE. However, if you went to a live event or you watched a pay-per-view, I had always had like a minimum 10-minute match on a pay-per-view. And I think, I, over the 7 years I was there, I mean, I was on almost every pay-per-view that I was healthy. And then live events, I mean, sometimes we'd have 10, 15-minute matches. We had great fun, and we were able to do a lot of things and try different things. And, and the live events for me were way more fun than the pressures of TV, because it was a frustrating time as a female wrestler to go to TV and to see, like, I know on the live events I'm getting those reactions. I know that the crowd likes us and they're into it, but then we can't educate them further. I can't teach them, to react to my moves on television, because I only have 2 minutes, and, and that's not the business of the match. So I will say that while I was working there, I loved the live events because I could be myself and I felt like I could show what I could do. And then on pay-per-views, I had that chance a lot too. So it's nice now that on television, the characters are getting time to develop. Yeah. You're getting these promo segments with the girls, and also the company is putting them in a position where the crowd sees that WWE is investing in the women. So now we can invest our hearts. It's not a bathroom break.
Yep.
Like, these girls are here to draw in the emotions, and now you have T-shirts for the girls, like even small things like that. If WWE is like, here's a T-shirt for a girl,
that's not small, because that shows an audience member,
right?
Okay, I can get invested in this now.
Right.
Because it will actually go somewhere.
Yeah.
And it was also a lot of what the crowd was finally, pushing that caused them to take notice.
Right. I think, this past weekend at WrestleMania, not only we saw not one woman's match on the actual WrestleMania pay-per-view. It wasn't on the pre-show. It was on the pay-per-view. There was 2.
And a mixed tag.
And,
so you had 3 matches involving women.
Right. So, 2 title matches.
And Stephanie as a manager.
Right. So, it's just shows you that, under the right circumstances, it could happen the way that it's happening, and that's pretty huge, I think.
Well, and I think if you looked at the roster now, imagine if there's Beth Phoenix, and imagine if there's Trish and Lita and Eve, and you could easily picture all of that and see the matches that could have happened. It was always possible.
Yeah.
But the world, our world, had to catch up.
Right.
With what eventually happened. But going back to your speech, what and obviously I'm biased, but I really thought it was classy because you didn't talk about yourself. You just thanked everyone. But you also talked about your influences in the industry, going back to the match that really sparked all of it for you between Bret and Owen Hart at WrestleMania 10. Talk a little bit about that, because I think we all have that touchstone,
right?
That caused that flip in our brains to go, oh yeah, this is what I'm going to do. And it would all be different for all of us, I'm sure. But that was the one for you. So how do you feel even when you watch it back now?
Well, first of all, I think that maybe when my mother was pregnant, she ate a lot of maple syrup or something. Because
you're Canadian.
I have some sort of thing. It's just everyone in my life that I care about and things that I'm drawn to, without me even knowing. I was talking to Tyler Breeze yesterday, and we just had this wonderful conversation. I just stopped and I was like, "Are you Canadian?" And he's like, "Yes." And I'm like, "Of course you are. Of course you are." I don't know why, because I was just like, he's got such a nice personality. Of course he's Canadian. But anyways, so that match was it. I have a brother, and the feud that developed between Bret and Owen. First of all, I loved Owen before that. I don't know what it was about him. He just glowed to me. I loved him as a babyface, even in the high water, high energy pants.
The taxi pants.
Yeah. I loved those pants. Just something about him. He was unintimidating. He was just and he, obviously he did the acrobatics, which I thought was super cool. But I don't know. I attached to him and loved him.
Just real quick, I'll tell you a funny story about Owen. Was that we used to, Adam and I, go to Maple Leaf Gardens, and we get the same seats every time, so we could, because we knew we were right on the aisle, and we could high five the wrestlers and all that sort of thing. But we figured out that in the old Maple Leaf Gardens, there was no parking garage or anything like that. They had to pull up on the street and walk in the side door.
Yeah,
so we figured out where it was, and we used to stand there and watch the wrestlers come in. And we knew Owen. This was before internet stuff and all these sorts of things. So not everybody realized that the Blue Blazer was Owen Hart.
Yeah.
And so when he came into the building, he had his Blue Blazer mask on. As he walked in, I thought I'd be really cool and say, "Hey, Owen." I yelled it out, and Adam got mad at me, hit me. He's like, "Hey, man, he doesn't want anybody to know who he is. Shut up." So
I believe.
Anyways.
That's too
brother.
real to me.
Yeah. So
that's awesome. Yeah. He was just charming on the screen. He was great.
Yeah.
And and then so anyways, and obviously in that time frame of my age bracket, Bret was the babyface, the hero, and so Bret was, awesome babyface. And anyways, there's story developed, and having a brother myself, I really related to this storyline where the brothers were jealous and and Owen was feeling like he was secondary and not getting what he was entitled to. And then they did the great thing at Survivor Series with all the Hart brothers. And then it was the kicking my leg out of my leg promo. And then, going toward WrestleMania. Yeah. And it's just, again, these
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I think it was Royal Rumble, right? Yeah. But, whenever you kick Bret at Survivor Series. But anyways, I digress. So this match had been the culmination of Bret, refusing to wrestle his brother. And then it came time to have this match. And there were so many things about it. And actually, I now have a good friendship with Bret, and he's an amazing person. And I am very lucky to be able to talk to him. And I told him that before my first WrestleMania in Orlando, I watched that match back many, many times. Like I had it on my little flip open DVD player that evening before WrestleMania, because it was just so surreal to me that journey had ended and I got to walk down that ramp. But that match told such a great story, and it didn't have any bells, it didn't have any whistles, there was no chairs, there was no like pyro, there wasn't anything other than two men that had invested themselves into it and really made me believe. Mm-hmm. And I was telling Adam, even like little things that Brett did, like there was a spot where Brett they took a tumble, Brett fell to the floor, and then Brett was selling his knee. Like he cut himself off, and then he threw Owen back in the ring. He was on top, and Owen's backpedaling to the corner, and Brett's kind of like limping in, like trying to shake it off, and then Owen dives on the knee, kicks him in the knee. And it was one of those things where I'm like, oh my God, what a terrible, mean, rotten thing to do. Like they just knew how to pull the strings.
Right.
And at the end of the day, with that quick, awesome little roll-up finish, I was like, oh my God. Not only was I so surprised, like I just stood right up, but I was like, this is not just what I enjoy watching anymore. I was like, somehow, some way, I need to figure out how to do this. This is the greatest like spark I've ever felt as a kid, and the spark never went away. Like, it wasn't one of those things that you go through a phase and da-da-da, and I'm sure my mother was praying it was a phase. But it would not go away. It like festered and it grew in me. And I was like, I got to figure out how to make someone else feel the way the end of that match made me feel.
Speaking of a spark, you've obviously, been retired for a few years, and there was kind of like the first, maybe not the first time you're backstage, but I mean, obviously you were going out in front of the crowd and feeling that energy and the whole thing, not only the Hall of Fame, but at WrestleMania, you go out and they always have the Hall of Famers come out and take a bow and give a wave and acknowledge them again, which is great. When that happened, you felt that live energy again that you can only get from being in front of an audience like that. Did you have any itch, or did you have any like, oh man, I could do this again, or you kind of missed it at all? Because sometimes when you're out of the bubble, it's okay, I'm out of the bubble. You don't really feel the itch, but like when you're back in it and you're standing there, and like I said, getting that instant, feedback that you get. Did you have anything like that?
Of course. And this may sound like a strange word to choose, but what I can describe it as is it's romantic. Like to be in front of the crowd, it's like it sparks this love in yourself. It's like you romanticize the way that felt, because you don't have the pressure attached to it. As a Hall of Famer standing there, all I had to do was go and get adulation, basically, from everybody. There's another big Webster word. But
nice.
I have to up the ante.
That's right.
He's a writer, so.
Yeah, I wrote a book once.
But
I think I was in it
a couple times.
Speaking of romance, bromance.
That's right.
But yeah, of course, and without this, there's a lot of stresses attached to the job, obviously, as you guys know. Mm-hmm. And I didn't have any of that this weekend. It was so awesome. I got to go out without any constraints and talk about things that were on my mind and in my heart. And then I got to stand in front of the crowd that I didn't earn this year. It was all the other guys, that earned those ticket sales in that arena, and I got to take advantage of it. So it was a really great moment, and I soaked it in. I came out earlier and just looked at the stage and the long rampway, and I sat in Gorilla and watched most of the matches and just felt like a little kid again. It was so much fun. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, it's interesting too, because you walk out there and you look like you could just hop in the ring tomorrow. And I think, especially because you're not old, so you're the youngest Hall of Famer of all time. So, which Trish Stratus took away from me, and you now took away from Trish. So, again, with the Canadian theme.
I love Canadians. It's a sickness.
But I think, and that can, and there was the chance of one more match initially at your as your speech was happening and everything. But not to say that you're going to have another match or whatever. But if you did, who would it be that you would want to get in there with?
Well,
because I always get asked that. You're from the current roster. Who would you want to get in there with?
I'm going to add something to that. I'm going to say everybody not named Natty, because I feel like that would be the given, I think. But you guys are so close.
Of the talent I haven't wrestled,
Right.
maybe.
Yes.
Because the cool thing is now is like there's just this amazing menagerie of characters.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel
Everyone's different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that hasn't been around for the women. It has been, but it was, it was really focused
It wasn't
on
cultivated.
looks. No. And we just didn't have time. There wasn't time to get to know anybody when you have 3 minutes and 2 minutes of entrances, you know what I mean? So now everybody's starting to get to know these women. And I guess it's hard to choose, but obviously, like, when I went down to the hotel bar after the Hall of Fame and Ric Flair was there, and Rick grabbed me and squeezed me, and he was just like, I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for you. He goes, I wish you could get in there with my daughter. And I am such a fan of Charlotte's work. Like, you and I have watched tons of her matches together and just seen her grow and develop and get confident.
That's the key. Yeah.
Like, her promos are getting awesome. And I just love watching that, that evolution of her. So, I mean, she'd be somebody that I would just love to get in there with and just, feel that again. And then the other person that I've come to know and really admire and like a lot this whole week, because I hadn't met her before, is Naya.
Yeah.
Because I think she's so different, and I think she's doing what I tried to do while I was there. And, I'm sure we'll be compared, and she's killing it. And last night at WrestleMania, the what they did with her was fantastic. I was so happy, and I was like, that was all it needed to be. And I was like, and that made you more than if you had won the title to me.
Yep.
And I just thought she pulled it off. She looks like $1 million, and she's beautiful. Like, all three of us have said that. Like, you guys told me too. She's a beautiful, beautiful woman.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, she did some filming for the TV show this week, and A walks into the room and is just like, oh, what am I doing? Super excited, super down with it, just got it. Not afraid to make fun of herself, not afraid, doesn't take herself too seriously, really good attitude.
Yep.
But then we had this camera angle where, she peeks her head in a tent and the lighting just hit her, and we looked at each other, wow.
Yeah,
That's a beautiful woman.
Yep.
But great character, which makes her even more beautiful too,
She's stunning.
Stunning, to quote Natty. She is stunning.
You have to use your finger like that. Yes. Stunning.
Now, you go back, though, and think about it. You were able to build a layer to your character when you pitched that idea to Vince about Santino. And I know you've said that's the most fun, you said it in your speech, that's the most fun you've had in your career. But it also added a layer of being the straight woman to this completely comedic character. And one of the things that a wrestling character needs on some level at some point is some comedy and just a different side. And that was an opportunity for you, was it not?
It was. And what was cool about it was you know how you were saying that at that time the women's roster was pretty lean, and I had kind of gone through everybody, and my heater status, I came in as like the super destroyer, and then I was beaten. So then it's like, okay, what do I do now? I have to reinvent myself. I have to find a place in the show, because the women's title feud had moved on to 2 other girls.
Right.
And I don't want to sit backstage and wait. And I thought, well, there's nothing going on in the comedy section right now. And, I saw Santino had done some stuff with Maria. Actually, I'd worked with Santino before we did the relationship stuff, when we did the Snoop Dogg thing and everything. But I thought to myself, like, he's the right character for my bully role. And I saw, actually, the idea came from an Eddie Murphy movie called Norbit, which was a terrible movie, but it was about this abusive, horrible woman named Rasputia who abused this little skinny guy named Rasputia. And it was Eddie Murphy playing both characters. Right. But Norbit was this sweet, demure little guy who just was kind of bullied in this relationship. And I was like, oh, that could be Santino and I. And so we... like I said, I wrote it up in a little concise format, and here's another little secret about me is I could be relentless with my emails. I used to type up email ideas and send them, to Stephanie and to Michael Hayes and the writing team, and I was quite relentless with that stuff.
But that's not a bad thing.
No, that's good.
You have to do that.
The writers got sick of me.
Well, here's the thing too. I mean, and some people don't realize if you're at least you're pitching, you know what I mean, and you're trying, and it's. At some point, if it's not now, something is going to stick. But at least they know
you're not going to throw a strike if you don't pitch.
Right.
But I I had this idea and I just felt so strongly about it that I didn't send it through the normal channels. I walked into Vince's office, which I never do. I, printed it out and I handed it to him. I said, 2 seconds, like, sir, if you have a second, please take a look at this. And I left. Mm-hmm. And I thought I'd never hear another thing. And then the next week, I had no idea what I was doing in TV. Vince grabbed me and pulled me aside and said, we're going to go with your idea. And I was like, what?
It's a win.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Well, and it's interesting because you had some opportunity to speak there, but I think we've talked about it in your Hall of Fame speech. Back to that again. That was the most opportunity you've had to speak in all of your time as a performer for WWE. And how did you feel? Like, I know what my mindset was no one knows what she can do. She's going to blow everyone away with this speech, which I think, again, I'm biased, but I think that's what happened. I mean, USA Today said it was one of the best Hall of Fame speeches of all time. So how did that feel? Like, especially once you got rolling, to go, oh, yeah, okay.
Did it take you a minute to settle in, or was it kind of like a little nerves, little butterflies at the start, and then it's just like, as you realized that you were in that moment and it was like you were owning it, right? So it's like, did it just become easier? Were you just completely cool the whole time? Like,
well, straight up confessional time. He'll tell you, I have been a royal pain in the ass the last couple months to deal with. I mean,
no.
Thank you. I mean, I have been super. I just had a baby. Like 9-10 months ago.
Oh, you did? I didn't know that. Congratulations.
So, yeah, I had a few babies. Yeah. So, and I'm like elbows deep in poop, diapers, and like, just not at all in a wrestling mindset. And then I get a phone call that's like, you got to be on stage in front of the WWE audience and basically talk about the culmination of your entire life's work. And you don't want to, I wanted to look my best. Mm-hmm. So it was a stressful time for me, and I have been a maniac, and I know that. So I apologize to everyone that's been around me. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, I'm cutting you off, and you're my guest, so that's probably not a good thing. However, I will say that she was holding the entire ship together because I'm over in Dublin.
Right.
I'm filming. Her mother has to have emergency triple bypass open heart surgery, 95% blockage, a trickle of blood getting through. She shouldn't be here. They get her to the doctor. The doctors say, you're not leaving. They assemble an emergency team. All of this is happening.
Two kids.
A 10-month-old. She's trying to get ready for the Hall of Fame, crossfitting her ass off.
Have school. Because you're studying as well. Yeah. So throw that in the mix.
And waiting to get accepted to her next program, which is another stressful, thing added on top. The 3 dogs, the house, all of that is happening while I'm over in Dublin, not helping at all.
Yeah.
So
you were helping, but
she had a lot of. So she'll say she was hard to live with. She wasn't. She just. There was
a lot of stress going on.
I was very, very stressed. But anyways, the point of me bringing that up is the day of the Hall of Fame on Friday, and I had been clinging to Natty, because I missed her too. We don't get to spend a lot of time together. So we just ate it all up. And on Friday, we were putting the finishing touches on our speeches, and then I was thinking about time, and I didn't want to be that person that just rambles on and on forever, and everybody's like, oh God, Beth. And so I just, was kind of second guessing my choices. But then as Natty was speaking in the ring, and I was wavering, like, should I say this? Should I say that? Should I cut this? Cut that? Natty was speaking, and I got this amazing sense of calm, and I lost all my nerves that had been making me sick to my stomach for 2 months. And I just said, you know what? I'm never going to have a chance like this in my life again. And those are my friends out there and my family. And I care about everybody. And I care. And even the fans in the arena, like, those are some of the most diehard fans that come to the Hall of Fame and witness that. And I was like, I'm never going to have the chance to do this ever again in my life. So I'm not going to be nervous worrying about my words. I'm going to stand there and just let it all come out. If I'm going to cry, if I'm going to laugh, whatever's going to happen. I just wanted it to be authentic because it came from my heart. And I think if it read that way, it's because that's the way I was feeling inside. I wasn't nervous at that moment. But like Adam said, I I told you guys that speech was if you had combined every promo I'd ever done, I think over the course of my entire career, that speech was longer than if you added every minute I'd ever spoke.
And well, I mean, you already gotten the crying out of the way beforehand because it was obvious Natty made you cry.
She did.
And she did a great job inducting you too.
She
so
did.
we should give her some props on
tip of the hat to
yeah,
Natty.
yeah, she
Natty
was,
was-
she's just awesome anyway. So.
She's amazing, and I will say, like, she was supporting me the whole way. I think our phone bill was $7,000 because we were texting so
That's
much
funny.
the last couple months. Sorry, Adam. You get the bill.
Like I said, I was over there. So do what you got to do.
We'll burn that bill.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's been amazing. Like, you know, all hours of the night when I've been a hot mess, and just that's what makes a real friend. You know, you guys know that.
Well, and it was interesting to see the shots to the crowd throughout your speech, and you don't just have Natty as that friend, because you could see Eve and the genuine love and affection that she has for you, and you obviously have for her. But then you know there's a shot of Kelly, and there's a shot of Candace, and there's a shot of Mickey, and it just felt like such a sisterhood that was in it together, that had to go through these leanly written years to keep the torch alive, so that these girls now would have the opportunity, these women would have this opportunity now to be able to knock the doors off the thing. And it just felt really cool to see all of them almost vicariously through you saying those words. You know, it's like, all right, somebody's saying it. Somebody is putting it out there, and we're all in this thing together. And that was very, very apparent to me, and I thought that was very cool. And even, you know, to the just previous generation of a couple of years of Nora and, you know, that whole group of women.
Yeah, and you know, we talked about this. I you know, ran this by you because, you know, you happen to have done your own Hall of Fame speech, so I was like, well,
yours blew mine away.
No, well, not at all. Not at all. You close it out with Foo Fighters, come on. But, you know, one of the challenges of that, my thoughts were like, I really wanted to acknowledge these girls that, you know, like I said, may have felt like some of us felt like kind of pushed aside.
Yeah,
marginalized. And one of the dangers of that was like, if I start naming names, I surely am going to miss somebody.
Yeah.
And I was, you know, we went over 1,000 times, and I sat down with Natty and I was like, okay, you know, let's make sure I get all the names. And I had all the names on the paper. And then I'm standing up there and I'm naming names, rattling them off. And I skipped Maurice. I skipped Rosa. And I'm sure I skipped many others. And I went to Maurice, and Maurice came up to me afterward and complimented me on my speech, and my stomach dropped. And I was like, I think I forgot to say Maurice. Yep. And so I went to her later and I apologized. And she was so cool. She's like, I didn't take it personal, but that broke my heart, and I knew that was going to happen, and that was the danger in like rattling all those names off. And I know, you know, I made that choice instead of just saying I want to thank all the women, because I wanted to just
it means more when you say their actual name, and I think they know you well enough as a person to know that you're genuine when you say that it was an honest mistake.
Yeah,
you know,
it does happen.
Right.
Like no matter what, I think back to mine. And I remember right after thinking, man, I didn't thank Randy. And he was a huge part of my career.
Yeah.
You know, we were a tag team. We had these long feuds and everything, and we rode together. And I was like, how did that slip by the radar? And Dolph, who I had my last real kind of sink my teeth into thing with, who's a great friend who rode with me and picked our brains. Right. And I was like, how did I forget those two? It happens, and you get up there and you start going. And I think I might have forgotten Dave too, Batista, who again was a huge part. So I think until someone does it, they don't realize that does happen, and that there's always going to be someone that you miss, and afterward go,
Yeah, that like I said, but I went for it. I tried to include everybody. I hope everybody knows that if they weren't mentioned, it's not intentional. It was just because I have baby brain. I don't sleep.
And that's a thing.
I also don't sleep.
We can all attest. That's a real thing.
I also know it was very important to you, and I thought it was very, very important. I know it was important to you to mention China. and what a huge influence she was on you.
Yeah, I mean, it just, I know that the China thing is sometimes the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
And, I'd gotten some feedback from fans and stuff being upset that she wasn't going into the Hall of Fame this year. And, but that had nothing to do with my choice to mention her. Why I mentioned her is because it's the God honest truth that, I mean, she was a big influence on me. I mean, if you watched me, like you saw that in me, the headband she wore at WrestleMania, our seamstress made me a very similar one that became a trademark part of my gear. And, that was my way of paying tribute to her. And I did the overhead press like she did, and she was just, she was one of those spectacles. And I just, again, a moment as a young woman being like, I want to be like that. I know I want to do this job. But then when I saw her, I was like, I think I could be that. I could be like that. I obviously didn't want to be a copy of that, my own version, but she was just so powerful and different. And you didn't look at her and think, she's good for a girl wrestler. You looked at her and you're like, well, she could go with anybody, male, female. And I just loved that she was able to blur the line between the sexes and just be good at her job. And that's why the Royal Rumble thing was so important to me, because and it was the highlight of my career, because I feel like that moment for me was my moment to blur that line.
We'll talk about that. Talk about the Royal Rumble and how that all happened and whose idea it was and the genesis of that.
So, Pat Patterson has always been a big part of the Royal Rumble. And that particular year, Dean Malenko was orchestrating a lot of stuff behind the scenes. And about a month before the Rumble, and this is completely out of the blue, I'd wrapped up did I finish the Santino stuff? But anyways, I was, I didn't think I really had a big feud or anything going on. And Dean called me and he's like, we have this idea. We want you to be in the Royal Rumble. And I was like, what? Like,
so what goes through your mind, your stomach, your heart when you hear that?
I mean, first of all, it was like, a prisoner that has been wanting a piece of chocolate cake for 20 years, and then he just gets it's
banging the bar,
yes, and has been eating bread and water for 20 years, and then they give you this hunk of massive chocolate cake. Everything is a food analogy, obviously, because I've been dieting really hard. So, but yeah, so that's what it tasted like to me. Like, it tasted like victory, personal victory. And so Dean said, keep this under your hat because it's supposed to be a surprise. So I took that so literal that it was to the grave. And I didn't tell my mother. I didn't tell anyone. I didn't tell my roommate, Kara. Like, I had to lie to everybody when everyone was like, are you what's going on at Royal Rumble? I don't know. And even the girls in the locker room. And it's not that I didn't trust anybody. It's that this was the most important thing to me. And
you don't want to ruin it.
And if I said it to the wrong person and it just snuck out,
it's over.
It's over.
It's done. Yep.
They're going to take me out and take it away from me. So I protected it, and I also trained harder for that than I had for anything in my entire life. This was it, and that's that moment. Like, when I was listening to your podcast with Bill Goldberg, he's like, if you're going to do it, this is the moment to do it. So I trained so hard and dieted so hard, and
well, it's all about moments too, right? Making moments, memorable moments, and that's one that's. It's replayed quite often, and it's used in a lot of video packages and hype videos and things like that. It's a pretty cool visual, and it accomplished what it was supposed to accomplish, and it was to get people talking and keep them talking for years to come. So it's a big thing.
Yeah, during my career, I didn't really get a WrestleMania moment, so to speak. You know what I mean? I had WrestleMania matches, and we had some cool stuff, but one of those moments that's like etched in history. But I will say that the Royal Rumble was my WrestleMania moment. I think that, and that it was an internal victory for me too.
The best part to me is the fact that Khali wipes his mouth.
Oh, no, not just wipes his mouth, but spits.
Yeah, it's like, hey, no, dude, come on. Let's take a look in the mirror at both parties of this. You're making out better, buddy. You can dig a ditch with your face. Let's come on here.
Well, I will say everybody. So we went to the Royal Rumble meeting, and I was with all the men. So all the men that were in the match knew I was in it. So everyone was egging, and they knew how I was going to eliminate Khali. So they were egging me on to eat garlic. Everyone was like, come on, you just gotta rib him. Go eat an onion. And I would have, if not, I didn't want to be like ready to puke during my entire little moment there. But yeah, first thing he did was hock a huge loogie at me. I was like, thanks, thank you.
I remember because that year I was number 29, which just on the list of entrants, it was number 29.
Yeah. Druid.
Druid number 29. And I was on Big Show's bus watching. Because they brought me in all cloak and dagger and pseudonym at the hotel and all of these things. So I'm on Big Show's bus and I'm with Sean, Dave, John, and Jericho because we're talking about the finish or whatever and we're watching. I was like, oh, this is a cool moment. You were fired up, that full on sprint down there. Power arming it, just like
bushwhacker style.
Just, full on sprint to where I was like, oh man, like that's one of those you'll blow your knee out if you're not careful sprints. But bam, you slide in. And then I remember watching it going, well, why is he complaining? Like, he complain about being eliminated. Don't be complaining about the hot blonde that just kissed you. Look at you, buddy. Like, and I like Kelly, but come on.
I think they say hindsight's 20/20, but think about it now. Maybe you should just went into business for yourself and just eliminated everybody in one.
Well, and that is a thing, and I know you and I have had this conversation throughout the years, and I know it was a locker room thing. Is everyone respected you to the fact that you could get in with anybody, and it was common knowledge, like, oh, we could all have a great match with Beth.
Well, a fan on Twitter did bring up to me the fact that because we both were in the Royal Rumble, technically you hold one win over me.
Oh, wow.
Career-wise, if you look at technically we have had a match.
So I am going to hold on to that kernel, nugget.
Did I mention I'm a Hall of Famer?
And that was another thing, which feels weird to say, but we had a lot of people come up and say that we are the first Hall of Fame husband and wife.
Oh, that's crazy.
I believe, which is really surreal.
You hold two records out of this, Beth, the youngest and the first Hall of Fame couple.
Well, I keep telling Adam, now I understand why he married me, because
I knew all that was going to happen. I just thought, and our DNA should be pretty.
You're pretty
good
over. I'll marry you.
We should make children.
Yeah.
But
Let make super babies.
We'll breed. Breeders.
Breeders. You have good, strong hips.
Speaking of breeders,
good childbearing hips. Yes, come here.
Speaking of being breeders, had to be awesome for not only you but for both of you. Your daughter Lyric, Ruby, obviously very small,
way too young.
She wasn't there.
She's a monster.
But Lyric, that she was like, she's never mom and dad, right? So she's still kind of figuring out now when people come up and ask mom or dad for a picture or an autograph, that she's kind of getting that point. And I know my daughter as well. Like, why did that person know you? Like, why do they want your? But for them to see you on the video package up on the screen, and then hear the crowd chant your name and all these things, and that had to be really she may not fully grasp it right now, but years down the road she's going to watch that back. And not only did you deliver a great speech, but she was there and she got to see it, and she'll fully understand it at one point. But how important was it for you to look out there and see her sitting there?
Well, it was awesome. I was actually talking to Dana Warrior about that, because she has two daughters that are 2.5 years apart, just like us. And I was telling her, again, this was the most important, amazing opportunity to thank all these people that have been a part of this quilt of my career. And on top of that, this was a chance for me to create basically a time capsule for my kids to one day, when they're older and they can, like you said, grasp this or have any interest in grasping it. Who knows? Whatever their interests are, they may not even give a crap. but at some point, if they ever look back onto this, that they can see that their mom and dad loved them so much.
Right.
And, we tried to take our experiences and set an example and teach them a lesson with it. Because being a parent's all about teaching.
Right.
The best teachers are are your mom and dad.
Right.
And so I was like, if I can translate this whole, why did this happen in my life? How did I end up here? How did I end up a pro wrestler? If I could make sense of all this and use it to teach my children that no matter how crazy your dreams are, you can do it.
Right.
Then there's nothing more powerful than that. So, that I tried to end the speech with that to kind of put that in the vault for when they're bigger and they can digest it.
I thought it was pretty funny because when you came out, Denise and I, my wife, we glanced down to the end of the aisle to look at Lyric to see what her reaction was, and her reaction was like, "Mommy."
Yeah,
that was it. It's like
whatever.
There she is. It was just so that she was like, but just the look on her face, just watching you, like watching the screen and watching, watching you talk. She was just like entranced by it, and I just thought that was super cool. It was like a good visual, like just like we were crying, because it was pretty special for us to watch too.
Well, again, like when I listened to your podcast with Goldberg, I really understand Bill's feeling and why he came back and did all this. Like, why come back at 50 and put yourself through that? And like all the training he did and how hard he worked. And when I saw his son sitting backstage in the chair and I saw Bill doting on him, just like so fired up and he was so excited to see his boy's face.
Yeah.
Sitting back there and just so proud to be able to give his boy that experience, that's my dad, and my dad's a hero. And I truly understand that feeling, and and I'm just so happy. And that was another reason, with the Tony Chimel situation.
The incident, we'll call it.
The Tony Chimel gate.
Yeah.
Chimel gate. Is, the same way if I wanted Lyric to have this like experience and be able to, kind of share this with me, I wanted to honor Adam first of all, but I also wanted Lyric to experience Daddy's chants and cheers and see how much this crowd loves her dad.
Yeah, because obviously she wasn't, she wasn't. No. You guys weren't even married, or you just were very
together.
No,
when I retired,
No, but I mean, even when your Hall of Fame speech, you guys were together, but it was very early on in your relationship. But it was, So that's. I didn't even think of it like that, but that makes complete sense.
Yeah. So and I don't know what she'll understand, but again, in the time capsule of this moment in our lives, she'll see like because in the beginning, this was me underestimating, obviously, but I was like, when I was trying to think of a way to do this, when I say my husband, Adam, I was like, are people going to know that we're married? Like, are people going to know when I say Adam, I mean Edge? Yeah. Because then I was thinking they would give me a reaction when we said Edge, but I couldn't even get that far. Yeah. I said husband, and then everybody started exploding and chanting Edge. I was like, oh, you all beat me to it.
Yeah, but the Chimel thing was cool too, because it was like complete shock. Like, I was looking around, I was like, what's going on? Like, I was completely thrown. It sounded like it was behind us for a second, and I was like, what's going on? I was like turning around, I was looking.
I'm glad I'm not the only one, because at first I was like, okay, all she told me she was going to say was, my husband, Adam, who's neat. And I thought that was perfect. Yeah. I was like, amazing. That's all you need to say. Yeah. It's all about you, hon. Right. So, just have fun. And then this thing started happening, and I was like, oh, man. I refuse to stand up. I'm not standing up. Yeah. I'm just going to sit here. This is all about her. This is all about her. But then I heard this voice, and I got hot. I was like, who the hell is interrupting?
Yeah.
Like, what are they doing? Are they somebody coming out to bring the hook, like, Mr. T? Like, what's happening here? Because this is a good speech. Yeah. She's not thanking her mama 58,000 times in a row.
Yet.
And like, I was like, are they sending Kane out again? Like, I didn't get it. And it did sound behind us. So then I was kind of looking around. I was like, how does a fan have a live mic? Who's back there? What's happening right now? And then I saw Chimel. I saw the jowls. I saw that. And I was like, oh, she didn't. So I had a lot of people, throughout the weekend say, so you didn't know at all. I had no
It was so great, too, because Chimel was like strutting out there. It was like his moment. Yeah. He loved it. He was in his element right there. Chimel.
I love Tony Chimel.
He's the best.
Chimel is awesome. He's become a key ingredient over the years to that whole deal. So it was Thank you.
I was so happy. That was my favorite part of the speech because, number one, I love Tony Chimel. And again, he's one of my favorite people. But I also, like I said, I wanted Lyric to hear that, feel that, be in the middle of that. And I wanted to honor you. And I also knew, again, the elephant in the room thing, like at some point, fans were waiting for me to get to you. You know what I mean? I feel like they knew I was going to at some point talk about you, and they want to acknowledge you. They love you. And I was just so happy to surprise you too. I did the same thing to Natty when I was going over my speech with Natty. Yeah. I omitted the entire section about her because I wanted her to hear it for the first time on that night. And so
it didn't leave much time for you to do that with my music or anything. So I appreciate that.
I was distracted by your sign, Jay.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, it makes sense.
Why is he jumping up and down now? Yeah.
I already said yes.
Well, we talked about the speech. I mean, we talked about your history, about how you wanted to be a wrestler, how you joined the wrestling team at school, and if you had advice for a woman getting into the industry, because I know what we always get asked. So your daughter's going to be wrestlers?
Yes.
All the time we get that.
Yeah.
And
or we get, oh, you both have daughters?
Yeah.
Are they going to be a tag team? Are they going to be the new Edge and Christian? And it's like, whoa, it's crazy to think.
Tank and technician.
But the funny thing is, the cool thing is, like, they already are like best buddies.
Yes.
Like today we had them at Disney, and they were walking around holding hands, which was like
just saying, I love you.
The cutest thing ever. But they're little buddies. But anyways.
Can I pause though? Like, did you guys ever think in your lives, like fast forward from, your Attitude Era days or even before that, on the Independence, that, in 20 some odd years, you guys would have daughters that are 6 weeks apart and be going to Disney together and just, have these lives that are so parallel? Like,
it's crazy.
That's crazy. I'm turning the interview around on you guys.
Yeah, I know, right?
Tell me more.
I felt like Clark Griswold today. I was like, okay, I'm rocking the dad bod.
Yeah,
I'm wearing camo cargos.
I'm wearing a fanny pack and socks hiked up to my knees.
I'm wearing a sensible Under Armour, sweat wicking T-shirt because I will be, sweating gravy within 2 minutes. Yeah. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm now officially a dad.
Right.
You're officially a dad.
Yeah.
You're walking around in your sensible Lululemon yoga pants to wick sweat.
Yeah.
And we're both a little stunned, kind of walking around a little overwhelmed with it all, and pushing carts and grabbing food and keeping everything hydrated. I wouldn't have thought that, to get back to your question to us, trying to flip our podcast on us, which is what every good interviewer does. So maybe you should start a podcast.
No.
Boom! What do you think about that? No? Not happening?
Too busy with babies.
Yeah, true.
But yeah,
which just shows that I'm not very busy.
She's just trying to get rid of you for an hour. She's like, here, just go do this thing for a while.
No, you guys
go do it.
Yeah.
Actually, do 6 of them. Can you do that? But,
back to back.
So you were talking about people asking if Lyric or Ruby one day might want to be a wrestler. What the
advice would be? Well, it's going to be a different world when they're old enough to do such things. And there's a whole generation of daughters that are interested in, like Dana Warrior's daughters are interested in wrestling, and Stephanie, even Aurora, their oldest daughter, is interested in wrestling, and these kids are going to be the next generation. And what I do hope is that the work that all these other previous generations have done will make that easier for them and the opportunities greater for them. But I would say to any female that wants to get there is dream big, and don't think of it as, I'm going to be a woman's wrestler. Just try to be the best at what you want to do, and don't limit yourself by your gender. That's my whole message, for any children, and being the mother of 2 daughters is, just own it. And the same would go for little boys, own it, whatever you want to be. Yep. And don't take no for an answer. Be stubborn. Except for your parents. Listen to your parents. Don't be stubborn to your parents.
Yeah.
Or you end up in timeout.
Like the entire crowd did the other night.
They did. I was about to put them in it. And that was totally instinct. Right,
that was funny.
Well, Beth,
I think you should probably put us in timeout because we will just ramble on and talk your ear off for probably another hour.
And we have my mom looking after the babies in the next room.
Right.
So we should probably get over there.
Yeah. You guys just leave these microphones here. I'm just going to... I'll wrap it up.
Continue.
Yeah?
I'll wrap things up.
Yeah, and I'll see you tonight in bed.
Okay.
Great interview.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Yeah, well, I guess we should say congratulations on your huge night.
Thank you.
There's
Hall of Fame induction.
Yeah. Congratulations.
So, yeah, congratulations. And yeah, it was pretty cool to actually sit down and we've been, all the times we've gotten together the last little while, it's just been as parents hanging out, not a lot of, professional talk or anything like that. So it was pretty cool to get down and sit down and talk like this, on this level about you being inducted in the Hall of Fame and celebrate your career. So yeah, it was great to talk to you.
Yeah, because long before Adam and I were dating, you guys were friends, and it was awesome to share bus rides and everything together.
We were always international bus buddies.
Yes,
because I always used to make you laugh on the bus, and maybe with a couple red wines, antioxidants. It's healthy for you. But I would always...
I would love antioxidizing with you.
So we would always have some laughs on the I tour buses. So
tour buses.
Yeah.
We also didn't even get into the whole, throughout the Indies, driving down to Louisville, Tough Enough, breaking your jaw on your Raw debut, coming back from that, blowing your knee out, working Lay Cool in a handicap match, and then carrying them both out to the middle of the ring on a completely blown out knee, no ACL, no MCL, no PCL, with a knee brace on because it's going to be in Buffalo and she wants to drop the title rather than just relinquish it and give it up. So we didn't even get into any of that stuff.
Are you like buttering me up to make you cookies or something? Because you've been like awful kind.
I think what he's doing is trying to get you to come back and save this podcast for another day.
He called me a hot blonde.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on here? There's something behind this.
I'll never turn down cookies.
So.
Yeah, see? I knew there was a motivation.
Well, let's go get some cookies.
All right.
That sounds good. I'm tired of dieting.
Thank you, Beth Copeland.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Whoa, he dropped it. Everyone knows we're married now.
Yeah.
It's not a secret anymore. Thank you guys for having me on. This is my first podcast. It was awesome. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks for joining us.
All right, so we had a pretty packed show. My get this week again. Great interview.
Nope. I think she pretty much clarified that it was a favor for me. So
she's got to live on the same roof as me. So I'm going to say this is my get. But anyway, so great week, packed show. Won't keep you guys any longer. I want to thank our sponsors this week, Harry's Razors, ZipRecruiter, and Mac Weldon. I want to thank all you guys for listening. Hope you had a great week with WrestleMania. You can pick us up and subscribe to this podcast on Spotify and Stitcher and iTunes and Google Play and all those things that play these things.
Yeah, we're out there, man. We're everywhere. We're on the social media. We're at ENC Pod, at EdgeRatedR, at Christian4Peeps, and, of course, at the Beth Phoenix. You can email us at ecpodofawesomeness@gmail.com. You can email us anything you want. Maybe even thank me for getting Beth Phoenix for this week. And, of course, you can leave us a voicemail at 929-367-8204. Leave us some more impressions. You can leave us some voicemails. Just say whatever you want to say. The stupider, the better. I'm going to leave it at that. Thanks for joining us this week.